Also, I don't think I mentioned that for this job I did not need JLPT. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, well, welcome. Before we get started with this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see more Japan content. I'm actually on my lunch break right now recording this. It's kind of hard making videos when you work 40 hours a week and your only days off are. In this video, I want to touch up on how I became a software engineer in Japan with no experience and no computer science or anything related type of degree in programming or software engineering at all. I'm going to start from before I came to Japan, from when I was in Japan to basically how I got the job. So before coming to Japan, I only had an associate's degree in animation and game art, and I lived in Miami, Florida.
What's Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide, back at it again and let you know.
Before coming to Japan, and before coming I was actually just working and saving up money for about 2 years before I came here, and then I only came for Japanese language school. How I ended up in Japanese language school was actually through this company called Gogo Nihon, and I was in Japanese language school for about 1.5 years. I tried to leave sooner, but it's very difficult unless as soon as you finish you are going to university or you already have a job lined up, which in my case I had no idea what I was going to do. I just kind of moved to Japan on a whim. I knew I wanted to eventually finish my undergraduate, but one, I don't have the money to, have the money to go to university. It's very difficult considering I wanted to transfer and not start from first year of university. So I actually applied to Tsukuba University for one of the English programs, and it was an engineering program as well. I can't remember the exact name of the program, but only accept about 9 students every year, and I ended up not even passing the first round. So a friend ended up convincing me to go to Temple University with her, and I thought this was kind of like my only option, considering if I went to Japanese university I would have to pay my tuition up front, which I did not have the money for, and if I go to an American university then I could transfer my credits and also apply for financial aid and also apply for loans, which I did. Temple University in Tokyo did not really have any undergraduate programs I was interested in, so I settled with business. I think I ended up changing that after a semester or two. I think it was after a semester I decided to change to economics because the amount of classes were way less than the business, so I wanted to finish as soon as possible. I think at that point I just wanted a degree. What I was studying didn't matter too much, which was extremely hard. I could have done a minor in computer science, which Temple University does offer, but I was taking out student loans, so that would have costed more money, and I just thought I could self-study programming for free. So I went down that route. While I was doing my economics undergraduate, I was also self-studying basic things like SQL, data analysis for Excel. I studied Power BI. It was mostly in the data analytics field. I didn't jump into programming at all. I think I was too scared, or I thought it was too difficult for me to self-study that, so I didn't really focus on that. I focused more on SQL and data, which is still a good thing to have. For economics, you don't exactly do any programming like Python or Java or anything like that, but you do study languages like R or Scala. I think it depends. I think that's how you say it. I think it depends on your professor or how the program actually is. It depended on the professor who was teaching econometrics. That was very traumatizing. That was so traumatizing. Econometrics is so hard, and not for the programming portion. It's just like the research part of it and the math part of it I think was so confusing, as well as having a terrible professor on top of that. So whoever went to Temple around the same time as me and had the same professor as me for econometrics would understand. So many people were struggling in that class. I was struggling. I was crying so much. I had meetings with the professor to help me with the assignments, and he would literally look at me in the face and say, "You are not trying hard enough," when literally all I was doing was trying for that damn class. That was a traumatizing experience, but I needed an undergraduate, I guess. So just learned R, which I think in my opinion has been completely useless for all the jobs that I've had so far in Japan. I have used SQL in the jobs, but I'll get to that. Before I graduated with my undergraduate in economics, I was working as an English teacher for a Japanese company. And I found this job through a friend of a friend of a friend, something like that. A person that I had known had messaged me on Instagram being like, "Oh, are you interested in like an English teaching job?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I think at the time I was probably working at a cafe and also living off of my savings, because working part-time at cafes in Japan, or just working part-time in general while you're a student in Japan, isn't enough for living expenses. So I was living off of my savings as well as living off of whatever tiny bit of money I would make at these cafe part-time jobs. So I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I literally thought nothing of it. And I was contacted by, I guess, like the person that's in charge of this English teaching freelancing team or whatever. Had an interview and I ended up getting this job. I thought it was fake because they were offering 10,000 yen an hour. 10,000 yen an hour in USD is about this much. That was really good money. It was about twice a week for only 2 hours, which in the end is not a whole lot of money, but it was enough for me to be able to pay my bills and eat while going to school at the same time, so I could not complain. On top of that, it was a chill job. My coworkers were teachers that have been here for a very long time, much older than me. Everyone was really nice. The students were really nice. They were employees at that Japanese company. Before finishing my undergraduate, of course, I had been looking for jobs in Japan. At that point, I had decided that I was just probably going to stay. There is no going back to my home country, Puerto Rico, or going back to Miami, Florida, which is where I lived before coming to Japan. Japan was kind of like my only thing. So before graduating, of course, I had been job hunting for about a year, and I didn't get a single job interview. I was only applying for foreign companies. I was not applying for any Japanese companies. In the back of my mind, I always had like, oh, if I can't get a job anywhere, then I'm just gonna ask current Japanese company if they would hire me as like a full-time employee. And this company is actually an IT company. It's a Japanese IT company. It was my last resort because I didn't want to work for a Japanese company. I knew the pay wasn't going to be great. That's what ended up happening. I asked my bosses if they would hire me since I had no other job to go to after I graduated from university, and they were like, yeah, sure, like you speak Japanese, of course, like we'll hire you, there's no problem. Just for formalities, we had an interview and they asked me questions like, why do you want to work here? Like, what kind of job would you like to do? Why are you interested in IT and like programming and stuff like that? That's basically how I found my job. I immediately started working with people that were my students, and these students were now my bosses. So it was interesting at first, and they didn't know whether to treat me as below them or above them. So that was an interesting first month, I guess. Now, every year, Japanese companies usually get their new employees in April, and they will go through training, whether it be for a month, for a couple of weeks, or however long, depending on the company. My company had training for 3 months. So in April, I started a little bit before that, but once April came, my bosses were like, oh, you should probably go through the training since you haven't done it before, and you can meet new people and blah, blah, blah. This training was basically a 3-month intensive boot camp, is what I like to call it, for programming. So we started off simple with VBA, which I don't even want to call it simple because I don't have it in my noggin anymore, and I still kind of like don't understand it. But we did VBA, if anyone wants to call that programming. We did VBA and macros, and then after that we started with SQL. We only did a little bit of SQL. We did like 2 or 3 days of SQL, and then the rest of that was Java, and Java servlets. And with Java servlets, of course, we did CSS and HTML, which wasn't really taught very much. It was mostly Java and Java servlets, and that was really difficult. We kind of had these booklets that they had created for us of like assignments and basically web pages that we had to create, or things that we had to create, whether it be like a calculator or a web page with like a banner and like saying these specific words in the banner. Like, we created a whole bunch of different things that I don't even remember anymore, but a lot of it was very difficult. And sometimes we would work in teams. We were all sat down with one extra person next to each other, so you would get to talk to that person and potentially work on things together. And we also had like group projects as well. So after this 3-month training, you would actually get placed in a department. Oops, ouch. Everyone besides me, because I had started before everyone else, everyone had the choice to decide what kind of department they would be interested in, whether it be maybe medical systems or credit card systems. They had lots of different options to choose from, and they could choose that and potentially get placed in a department that works with those kind of systems. Once the 3 months were over, most people got placed, and whoever didn't get placed, like me and some other people, had to do an extra month of training. And this month of training was very different than the first 3 months that we had done. This extra month of training that we did, it was like a group of like maybe 12 of us with our teacher, who is like a pro Java guy. He's been doing Java for years. He's so smart. He made us write Java from scratch, like on your notepad, like on the computer, on the notepad, not using any programs, just raw dogging Java. That was an interesting experience, and we had exams every couple of days or every week in regards to these programs that we were writing. It was a hard, stressful time, but we also learned a lot. After that month ended, everyone got placed in their departments, and I went to the department I was in before. After half a year of doing that, I got placed somewhere else. Got placed into credit card systems for a Japanese company called TIS. That was completely different. That was mostly quality assurance. I was doing SQL sometimes, but it was mostly quality assurance. And everything is so different. And I think quality, like my personal opinion, I think quality assurance is a little bit boring. Also, I don't think I mentioned that for this job I did not need JLPT, because since I had already worked there and I spoke Japanese, they knew that I knew how to speak Japanese and that I could have conversations with people, so they didn't ask for any kind of Japanese proof. A lot of companies will ask for the JLPT N2, N1 in order for them to probably even look at your resume. That's my experience. I think I was very, very lucky. While I was doing my undergraduate, I really did want to get into software engineering and learning programming, because where I'm from, like Puerto Rico in the US, if you have a job in IT, you would get a really good salary. Not in Japan. And I do have a short form video on my paycheck from when I was working as a software engineer, so you guys can go see that. I'll put it like here. Let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I would really appreciate it. It helps me want to make more content for people, especially if you are asking me questions in the comment section below, or if you're curious about anything Japan related, whether it be career wise or software engineering or anything like that. Yeah, if you got to the end of the video, thank you so much. Please subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.